Welcome back. You're watching The Firm. Get ready for a mega battle between lawyers and chartered accountants. The Society of Indian Law Firms is going after the big four accounting firms for the unauthorized practice of law. Aayush Ailawadi gets in the middle of it.
The Society of Indian Law Firms, a representative body of more than 100 Indian law firms, has accused the four accounting firms, namely KPMG, PwC, Deloitte and EY, of the surrogate practice of law. According to their complaint, among other things, the big four accounting firms are currently offering legal services such as drafting, reviewing, litigation and advisory in the field of corporate laws, taxation, IPR and the regulatory space.
These accountancy firms, they are engaging in practice of law. They are not just confining their activities to accounting and auditing, which they are supposed to do under the legislation which governs them. They have set up, you see, large law practices, having number of lawyers working for them, and under some facade, you know, they may have a subsidiary company. They are all incorporated bodies.
Your complaint to the Bar Council of Delhi is directed at the big four accountancy firms for now. Although you're saying that this is a problem at large, for now you've specifically targeted the complaint at the big four.
No, we are targeting all the accountancy firms which have engaged in the practice of law. And big four are, you know, to start with. But there, possibly in the course of next week or so, we'll be filing complaints against others also.
Mr. Bhasin, in your complaint against Ernst & Young or EY, you have actually alleged that by consulting a firm named PDS Legal, which is a law firm comprised of advocates, you've said that they are indulging in the surrogate practice of law. Now, by just consulting a firm like this, how exactly are a firm like Ernst & Young indulging in the surrogate practice of law?
Yeah, we have, you see, these are all similar complaints against all the big four. There is a surrogate practice going on, and they are openly and brazenly doing, you see, what they are not supposed to do. You can't do even indirectly what you can't do directly. That is a principle of law. And we have got, as I said, you see, documentary proof to show that they are not only doing the work, but they are also publicizing that they have, like under one roof, all services to offer, including legal services.
Pankaj Jain is a CA, auditor and chairman of ICAI's Ethics Standards Board. He's also argued before the Income Tax Tribunal and disagrees with Mr. Bhasin's allegations.
PDS Legal, as you have said, is a part of E&Y Global. Then obviously it's a foreign firm or a member of a foreign firm. Whether it is owned by the foreign entity or not, that is the issue which has to be looked into. And it depends upon the ownership. If the ownership is not Indian, then obviously it's a foreign firm which is not allowed to practice the legal services in India. But if E&Y India is consulting PDS, I guess then it gives an altogether different twist to this entire issue.
Senior tax lawyer and a chartered accountant himself, H.P. Ranina also disagrees with the self-accusation.
It only shows that Ernst & Young is aware that it has limitations on legal experience, and therefore it has taken on board in an informal way a legal firm which will give specialized legal service. And the fact that the two firms maybe work in tandem or they work together, that does not mean that one firm is doing legal work and the other firm is doing accounting work. It doesn't mean that at all.
In your complaint, you've accused firms such as Deloitte of representing their clients before tribunals and authorities. But Mr. Bhasin, if I gather correctly, then chartered accountants are statutorily allowed to represent their clients in tribunals such as the SAT, ITAT or COMPAT. So what really is your objection here?
You see, these are all general statutes, but so far as the Advocates Act is concerned, it is a specific piece of legislation which has been interpreted by the Supreme Court to mean that chartered accountants can do their accountancy work, their auditing work, nothing more, nothing less. They cannot On questions of facts, they can advise the clients, but not on the legal issues which arise.
Under Section 288 of the Income Tax Act, they have defined who are the authorized representatives to appear before the income tax authorities as well as the appellate tribunal. In this case, the income tax appellate tribunal. And it clearly mentions that a chartered accountant, that the term accountant means a chartered accountant under the Chartered Accountants Act, which would obviously include those who are working in Deloitte or any other Big Four entities, that if they are chartered accountants who come under the definition of the word accountant, then I guess they can definitely be authorized representatives.
One of the important points is that in most tribunals, they have what is called a legal member and an accounting member. So you have an accountant member who deals with the accounting aspect of a particular case, and you have the legal member. So the tribunal itself is constituted of somebody representing the legal profession and one member representing the accounting profession. And it is because of this reason, it is for this very specific reason that both accountants and lawyers are permitted to appear before the tribunals. But in the High Court, obviously, and the Supreme Court, that's where the Bar Council rules apply. And that's where only lawyers can appear, and accountants or any other professions cannot appear.
If a chartered accountant was to advise his client, say, in interpreting a tax statute and advise him accordingly, would that be barred under the Advocates Act? Would that really amount to legal advice, Mr. Bhasin?
Legal opinions are, you see, exclusively in the domain of the lawyers. And Supreme Court is quite clear that on facts, you see, they can advise the client. They can even advise the lawyers who are appearing for the clients, giving the factual position. But giving legal opinions, that is not at all permissible, and they have gone, you see, much beyond even legal opinions. They are doing actual drafting of agreements and advising clients on intricate and complex issues which arise in global transactions these days. That is strictly not permissible.
Well, it would amount to legal advice, but the point, as I said, is that if the client feels that an accountant is more qualified to give this type of advice, then it is for the client to decide.
According to me, obviously a chartered accountant is well versed in various laws. In their examinations, they are asked questions under various laws which are of, and we require expert knowledge, not only working knowledge, to answer those questions. And in the course of our articleship, we actually have practical training, are exposed to those so many laws, and after qualifying, many of us practice those laws. So we believe that chartered accountants are highly qualified to give legal advice under various laws which it regularly encounters in their practice.
This is the first round in the turf war between lawyers and chartered accountants. The next round will be when SILF goes after the other accounting firms. Meanwhile, the Bar Council of Delhi has issued notices to the Big Four seeking replies before the 7th of August, and their representatives have also been directed to be present before the council on the 7th of August itself. Else, ex parte orders will be passed. And since the complaint names the top brass of the Big Four, if found guilty, they could be liable to up to 6 months of imprisonment. In Mumbai, Aayush Ailawadi.
Well, we did reach out to the Big Four for their comments on these allegations, and they said that they will respond appropriately to the Bar Council. On that note, we're going to wrap it up here on The Firm. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next week.